Robyn Meredith, The Elephant and the Dragon, The Rise of India and China and What It Means for All of Us. Dive into the remarkable economic journeys of China and India in Robyn Meredith's The Elephant and the Dragon, The Rise of India and China and What It Means for All of Us. This book summary takes you through key historical events and decisions that shaped the rapid economic growth of these two Asian giants, as they transformed into global economic powerhouses. It delves into China's shift from an isolated, impoverished nation to a global manufacturing hub, as well as India's evolution into a significant player with a robust service industry. Learn about the implications of their astonishing growth on the economies of the West, the environment, and global competition.
China and India's economic growth. The book highlights the divergence between China and India's economic growth and how it affected their citizens. In 1978, China removed restrictions on the economy, allowing foreign investments and manufacturing plants to grow, while India continued with an unproductive course. By 2003, China had invested $700 billion, and millions of Chinese had access to disposable income and could afford to buy cars and electronics. Meanwhile, many Indians lived in poverty. Despite India having democracy and a standardized legal system, China's economy surpassed theirs by 100%. India, China, and business growth. The economic growth in India and China have been unprecedented over the years. India, despite its capitalist traditions, moved from a bureaucratic economy to a pro-business stance in 1991. China, on the other hand, always had a pro-business stance despite its communist origins. Together, they have become the fastest-growing economies in the world. With this growth comes super low prices on products, job loss in the West, and increased pollution in both countries. Western companies now look for future workers and customers in these two Asian giants. China's economic transformation. China has established itself as the world's leading manufacturer, with its centralization typical of other industries manufacturing in the country. In its quest to become a steel powerhouse, it implemented agrarian reforms that saw the rise of massive corruption across regional officials, causing famine to spread from 1959 to 1962 and leading to the death of millions of peasants. However, China reinvented itself under Deng Xiaoping's leadership, who instituted agrarian reforms that transitioned into a national rebuilding effort and the development of modern, export-friendly infrastructure, leading to the country's transformation to a robust market economy. Today, China's low labor costs attract Western-branded goods' massive new market while driving global manufacturing. China and India's changing manufacturing landscape. China and India have become influential forces in the manufacturing industry by implementing a sub-assembly process. This process involves breaking down products into separate components and relying on widespread plants for production and assembly. China, having access to every modern manufacturing facility, low-cost labor, and reliable transportation infrastructure, gained a substantial chunk of the world's sub-assembly production work. India, on the other hand, became a back office to the world, thanks to its invisible human infrastructure that has reconnected it to the global economy. Through this manufacturing tactic, manufacturers cut production costs significantly, as different plants worldwide add different parts to the same product. This tactic has enabled giant retailers to order products efficiently, where they can buy raw materials from one country, and different production plants worldwide handle different product components. The world's manufacturing landscape has witnessed a dramatic shift, and China's communist leadership deserves the credit for China's radical transformation. China's prosperous class. Merrill Lynch reports 320,000 millionaires in China, including gold-collar workers, single aristocrats managing foreign firms, intellectuals, middle-class consumers, and little capitalists earning over $12,500 annually. Every dollar transferred to India by U.S. companies creates $1.46 in new wealth. Despite innovative economic actions, Chinese communist leaders remain embroiled in a cold war with their citizens, with few civil rights, no free press, torture, an inequitable judicial system, and limited religious freedom. The communist leaders fear instability due to present fault lines that could threaten communist rule. India's offshoring revolution. India's colonial past has left a mark on the country's present. With over 100 million English speakers, India has become a hub for offshoring, with Western companies outsourcing white-collar jobs to the country. This has led to large-scale job losses in the West, and big investments in India. Pollution control is one area where Western companies can offer their expertise. However, India faces challenges such as providing jobs for its large population, expected to grow to 1.45 billion by 2030, and developing a persuasive approach as a democracy to bring about change. China and India's rising economy. The future demands for natural resources in China and India will increase due to their population growth. If these countries consume the same amount of oil as the US, the world will face scarcity. Additionally, they will add more pollutants to the environment, and the US and China's strained relationship could lead to an arms race. Instead of protectionism, the West should accept these economic juggernauts, as offshoring helps produce lower-cost items for consumers. To remain competitive, the US and other Western nations must prioritize innovation, innovate or abdicate, says the Council on Competitiveness.
In conclusion, Robyn Meredith's The Elephant and the Dragon paints a vivid picture of the meteoric economic rise of China and India. China's transformation was fueled by embracing capitalism, while India thrived on its English-speaking, skilled workforce. The massive growth of these nations influenced the world economy, resulting in lower product prices, job losses in the West, and increased pollution. The West must continue to innovate to stay competitive in a world where China and India will play even more significant roles. The book, acting as a conduit for comprehending the past and foreseeing the future, highlights the importance of understanding and working with these emerging economic giants.